Hey, what's up, everybody? This is SancLogic, and today we're going to do an investigation in Splunk. So, we have a CTF initiative that we do every month in the MYDFIR Skool Community. As you can see here, we have the website, and each month we put an incident brief. From what you can see there, CEO Ryan Adams reported social engineering attack, fake IT help desk call on evening November the 3rd, 2025. Staff instructed to leave computers on overnight for maintenance. Real IT team confirmed no such call was made. Suspected unauthorized access overnight during the November 3rd and 4th. So the hypothesis is threat actor used social engineering to gain overnight access to powered on systems. Attack window is from November the 3rd evening through November the 4th morning. So the investigation questions from the CEO are: was our network compromised? What actions did the attacker take? What data was accessed or exfiltrated? What are next steps for containment and recovery? So before we actually do anything, I'm quite new to Splunk, so I need to sort of understand the environment. But before we do that, I just wanted to give you a quick tour over the website. So when we do CTFs, we do have an investigation playbook that you can use to sort of look at different techniques, the analysis framework, attack patterns, correlation, timeline building, and so on. So, and also Stephen MYDFIR created this sort of like Splunk walkthrough, which is pretty good, very helpful. And then we have the scoreboard. So when we do the CDFs, you can see how everybody is doing, and there's lots of statistics there. So it's very similar to platforms that are used, for training and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And then here we have the challenges, and Stephen MyDFIR sets up all these questions for us after we do a simulated attack, and it's really good. I really enjoyed this one because it sort of gives you sort of an investigation mindset on how to look for indicators of compromise. And he even stuck in some networking Zeek based questions, which I found really, really good and very helpful, and sort of in this particular CTF, I got to play around with Zeek logs and Suricata logs. So it's something I've never done before. So it's really cool to sort of try and understand how network logs work and what gets logged when a simulated attack happens, and you're using various frameworks, C2, and using lolbin abuse and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. So moving on to the Splunk SIEM, we're in the search panel. So we're going to try and do some baselining. I find this helps when doing investigations to know kind of what you have in terms of logs, indexes, so you know how to investigate and so on. So, so let's have a look. So the first query I'm going to run, which I found quite useful, is the tstats count where index. There we go. And run that and see what we get. So in terms of indexes, we have access, endpoint, exchange, and network. So for us, that's pretty decent. We know, I don't particularly know what access is, but I do know endpoint, network, and exchange. For our particular investigation, it's going to be mainly endpoint and network, but I'm sure I'll find out about these another time. So the other thing we want to sort of see is what source types we have. So we can do index equal endpoint endpoint, and then do a pipe stats count by source type. There we go. And then we want to sort that dash count. See what we get. So we got Windows event log and XML win event log. So this is Windows security logs, application, and so on. And then we have the Sysmon logs as well. So that's pretty cool. So the next thing we want to do is kind of look at what we have in those two logs. So all I need to do is add the source type. Source type equals XML. There we go. So we want to put the time frame earliest equal 11/04/2025, and then we want to put 0 0 0 0 0 0, and then latest equal, and let's just copy that there, and then just change date to the 5th. We can obviously do the 3rd, but there's no need, because I think when I did the attack, when I did the simulated attack, it was on the 4th. We can just do the 3rd if we like. And then we want to do stat count by event code. And I think that should work. Check the syntax. That should work. Oh, oops. That should work now. See, guys, here spelling matters, so oh no, why? Oh, see, it's case sensitive, so as you can see, I'm still getting used to how to use SPL. So as you can see, we do have results. So from the 3rd to the 5th, we can see all the different types of event codes that got triggered. So that's a good indicator for us to sort of know that we have event code ID process creation, we have event ID 3 network connections, we have event ID 10 process access, we have event ID 11 file creation, and then we have event ID 13 registry modification, and then event ID 22 DNS query, what processes are resolving. This is solid Sysmon coverage. Event ID 10 is especially important. That's how we catch things like Mimikatz, access in LSAS, and that kind of thing. So the next thing we want to look at is win event logs. So all I need to do is change this. Let's get the capital spelling right. There we go. So these are all the Windows event logs. So we can see 4624, 4634. So we've got quite a lot there. So that's we can also check it by source as well. So we can see what sources we have. So we've got Win Event Log Security Application, Microsoft Windows PowerShell Operational, Win Event Log System. We also have Win Event Log Microsoft Windows Defender Operational, which is really cool. Usually companies don't have this, but since we're doing the CTF here, we do have that. So it's great to sort of investigate that. That's great for quick wins. Win Event Log Microsoft Windows Terminal Services. I have no idea what that is. I'm sure I'll find out some other time with regards to what this actually sort of gives us. But okay, so for us to start, I think the best thing is to move to Sysmon. So what I'm going to do is here change the source type, XML, win event log, and then we want to do event code equal 1. So we've got the time frame there, and then by computer is better for us, and then sort count. So you're probably wondering how I know the different names, stats by computer and stuff like that. Well, I've played around with it, so I kind of remember the important aspects. But if you didn't know, there is a way where you can just remove those two. And just do that. And then here you can kind of see sort of fields that are available to us. So you can see event code 1, event channel, the computer name, which is important to know which computers are triggering all the different logs. And you can see the hash. Also, the IMP hash is pretty important here for searching as well. I've not really played around with it, but I've been reading about it and it's really cool. Difficult for threat actors to mess about with this, apparently, so I've not really looked into it, but it's a really cool thing to know about. And basically, we have so much information here to work from. So this is kind of how I get the fields. So when I'm able to do queries, I know that these work because they are in the Splunk log data. Just wanted to show you that so you know where I'm getting the names and stuff like that. So let's go back to that. Sorry, by computer. So the reason I'm looking at that particular time frame is I want to see which endpoints have a lot of logs. That way you can sort of know there's high activity on those particular endpoints, and that could be a point of interest for us to start with. So if you look, KDC is the exchange, so it has quite high logs. And then we got the back office, which is the top runner there, 991. And then we have the other endpoints. So the average is about 300, 200. So endpoint has over 900, which is quite a lot. So that could be a starting point for us. So how are we gonna actually set up this query? So the best thing to do is, for me personally, I would look at the back office computer, and also look at the Defender operational logs for that period and see what we get. So let's get rid of that. also we want to change source type to win event log, and the source is going to be the win event log Microsoft Windows Defender operational. Don't forget the quotation marks. Let's see if we get any logs before we start building everything. Okay, so let me get rid of the source and then just copy the actual source type. Got sources here. There we go. Add that. That. Splunk is gets annoyed if you get the spelling and it's case sensitive. So now we can see 203 events for that period. So here, what we can do is start breaking down the sort of what we want to find, and I don't want to look at 203 logs. So we can do stats and then by time, and we do have host, so there's 8 hosts there, and do event code and then message, and let's sort by time. Okay, so I kind of queried for everything, just to sort of get an idea of all the sort of AV event codes. We can filter it even more with the event codes and filter it with the host, but let's kind of have a quick glance through and see what's going on. That trigger, let's go back. That's the first one. Okay. No. Yes. Okay. So the third, we want to start with the third. So this is all like basic. Nothing useful here really. Back office, there's something going on here on the third, but doesn't really give us anything. So let's go to the second page. I think I'm going to change it to the fourth. Be a little bit more specific. And also, so if we look at the fourth, we can see a lot of 507. So event code 507 means a configuration change. So we can sort of look at the message and see what it says. So it's saying here, Windows Defender UX configuration 0x1 to 01. So something was changed to 01. I'm not sure what that means, but we can look it up later. But my kind of interest is tamper protection or exclusions or any things like that. So here we can see at 0234 something is happening here. 023909 back office PC1, we can see tamper protection has been changed. So from what that tamper protection prevents unauthorized changes to Defender settings. If that's off someone preparing to disable AV, so it's a really good indicator. And then at 0246 UTC, event code 501, real-time protection disabled. There is there it is. So 7 minutes after tamper protection goes down, real-time scanning is off. The attacker now has a window to drop malware without detection. So we can see that here. So I'm going to just let you have a look and see. So we can see here exclusions, see users, public libraries, program data. We can see libraries again here, Windows temp as well, program data Microsoft, exclusions for .exe, PS1, DLL, and exclusions for this particular binary, which is a Google Update Core. So that's all of these things we can note down and use them for the investigation. And then if you look here, something else got changed. So a lot of changes, a lot of I'm just if I pause, guys, it's because I'm just looking at the logs and checking what's there. So stay with me. So 0449, see here, event code 1116, malware detected. So we have a Trojan Win32 SUSP Golang, whatever that means. So that's something we can actually search for. Go to Google, Brave. So it says here, Trojan, a backdoor Trojan specifically designed for a 32-bit Windows platform written in Go programming language. So there's some information there we can sort of read through it. So what does VirusTotal have? Oh, okay. So it's a Trojan.Sliver dump. So it's using the Sliver 2 framework. So there's loads of information about it. So that's good. And that's exactly what I used for the simulation. So thank you, Google. So it's given us some information there. So doing some OSINT is pretty good. It gives you sort of a clear picture of what things are. So there's another one, Adobe Update Service.exe, similar indicators. So this is on KCD. This is the file server. So that's a point of interest. But we can see here, Office PC1, some unwanted. So I don't know what that is. But here we can see another alert on that. So what else? You can see some front desk PC2, some weird stuff there. And we can see at 9:52 back office must have turned itself back on. Typical Defender behavior. So I didn't completely disable it. So as soon as the AV came back, or probably Stephen redid the image, and AV is back on and it's deleted it or something. So that's kind of the Defender logs as you can see it. So this is really a good source of information for us to start with for quick wins. So we've got lots of data there we can work with. So from Defender alone, we know about the attack, and it started at 0239 UTC on November the 4th. Attacker disabled AV protections, malware names. We have Google Update.core and Adobe Update Service.exe, which we know of using the Sliver framework. Lateral movement to file server was attempted but blocked by AV, and also back office PC1 is the compromised system. So now I have timestamps let's move and pivot to process creation and figure out how they got in and kind of start building a timeline. So I know the attack was activated at 02:39 UTC on November the 4th, but the instant brief said staff got a phone call on the evening of November the 3rd telling them to leave computers on. So initial access probably happened November 3rd, but the actual attack didn't commence until the 4th, as we saw from the defender logs. So let's do a query and see what we can find. So process creation around the attack time, so that will give sort of an indicator of what's happening. So what can we use? So first of all, I want to remove this and remove the source and do that. Only reason is get rid of this. And I want to get the source types. Oh. I don't keep typing it because it's difficult to get it right. So what was the other one? Sources. I don't think we really need to add that, but we can just search event code equal 1, see if we get any results. Yep. Okay, so that's our time frame and start building this out. So we do want to put the computer equal, I think it's back office. Let's back office PC1. Back office all capital dash PC1. Okay, close that off. We've got our time. So what things can we use in terms of the table so we can see? I always like to use time. I think we can use also, let's have a look. We want sort of that. We want the image. What else do we want? We definitely want the command line. Where's the command line? There we go, command line. And we want the parent image. So parent image. We also want the user. So we want to see which user got actually got compromised. So let's build it out. So image, command line, parent image, and user. And then we can sort it out by time. See if it works. We got something wrong in terms of so let's try it one by one. No? Oh, I think I don't know what the issue is. Probably this. So let's something, add that. Probably need to add the domain name. I'm not sure. So let's see if that works now. Doesn't. So okay, the computer. Try this. Right, for that. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with XPL. We're getting close, but this is what I'm going to do actually. So I'm going to take that off and do it like that. See if we can get the actual name. Even though, get rid of all that. Even though when we look at the host name, it did say back off. Let's see what it comes. Yeah. So there we go. Let's that. Not giving me details. I like to go like this. Yeah, okay. So let's do the table and time, and then image, command, line, parent, image, user. All right. Thank God for that. Okay. So sort, oh, oops, sort by time. So we have an idea. Okay, so this is one of the things that I like to do is because we have Sysmon, an event code ID, event code 1, and we've got access to image, command line, parent, image, and user, we can sort of look through the logs and see how the story evolves, which is really cool thing to do. And it also kind of teaches you how how Windows operates, what looks normal, this looks normal, and that kind of thing. So Microsoft, their program files. So when you look at the parent image, you can see it's coming from the actual proper destination. So Windows System 32, that's the proper window, and then you got the user anti-authority. So this is all operating system behavior. So going through that, you kind of get an idea of what the baseline normal is before you start sort of do simulations. It's really good to sort of baseline always. So let's look through the events. So there's nothing really exciting happening here so far. We go to page 2. So this is all 1 a.m. So we know nothing happened until, was it 2 sort of 39, I think it was, when the AV was getting attacked. So let's keep going. Nothing here as well. Nothing of interest. Okay, so we at 2:02:34:46 UTC, we can see PowerShell.exe spawned from the runtime broker.exe. That's unusual. So runtime broker is a Windows process that manages app permissions. It shouldn't be spawning PowerShell. This is likely process injection or some kind of abuse. And then at 02:37:14 UTC, we have who am I? So this looks like system enumeration by the attacker. So we have 02:37:57 UTC, we got system info.exe, more discovery, what OS version, what patches, domain info, stuff like that. And then 02:38 UTC, find str.exe. They're passing the system info output. So cool. So active attack operation started at 02:34 UTC, but how did they get in? The instance said November 3rd evening. Let me look at November 3rd. So using the same query, let's reduce the time. So let's look at the 4th. This is us trying to find the initial access if we can find anything. So maybe change this to 1800 till midnight. See what we get. So the reason we're looking at this particular time is it's from what the CEO said. So from 6 p.m. onwards, the vishing call, vishing, not phishing, vishing, call told staff to leave computers on for overnight maintenance. So we scroll through. So here we have 20:00:18 UTC. We have AnyDesk and Spawn by Explorer. So that could be something. Go to the next page. So we can see AnyDesk here again. So that looks like when they took control of the AnyDesk, the so-called IT desk that called in. So we can assume this is the initial entry is AnyDesk, which is a legitimate RRM tool. So, but looking at the time in 8 p.m., exactly when staff would have gone home after leaving computers on. So let me check if AnyDesk was used legitimately earlier in the day. So just to give us sort of a baseline, we can add the image equal star any desk, then star again. I think I need quotation marks. See what we get. Okay, let's extend the timeline for a full day, that particular day. So ingestion patting. So what we can see on 03:34:12 UTC, AnyDesk by helpdesk account. This is during business hours, probably legitimate IT use. And then we have 04:41:16 UTC, AnyDesk by Ryan Adams, the CEO, using remote control, also legitimate by the looks of it, because I don't think he got compromised. And then the 20:00:18 UTC, AnyDesk by helpdesk after hours. This is our attacker, I think. So they got control of the AnyDesk, and then they didn't actually do the attack until later on in the evening to avoid suspicion. So the attacker compromised the helpdesk account and used it to remote in via AnyDesk at 8 p.m. The phishing call got staff to leave machines on, and the attacker knew there was an RRM tool installed because, well, they were impersonating IT helpdesk. They probably already had the helpdesk credentials. Let me verify the authentication. So here we can switch to Windows events and look at 4624. So this particular query, we want to sort of change it a little bit. So let's get it. Let's check. Win event log. Okay. 4624. And we know the host is back office PC1. Let's add the account name equal helpdesk. And then we got our time frame. So we want to do the 11th of the 3rd. Let's change that to 19, because we know that's when, from the event ID code 1 in Sysmon, we know that's kind of the time frame. And then here we can do the 4th. 5 p.m. 5 a.m. sorry. So we need to change these. I don't know why it's So I'm just going to do that for now. It's not working. Why aren't you working? So we got index endpoint, we got source type, which is win event log, and then we got event code equal 4624. Computer name. Well, because we're in win event log, so it's different naming conventions. So I think this should work. So what that means is get rid of this and then try and do it like that. And then we can sort of build it out because I need to see what the actual logs say. So get rid of that as well. Start from the top. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we said we wanted to put the account name. So there we go. That's was right. Account name. Account name equal. What's the hosts? What's the host name? Account name. I don't want that one. So we want the host. Add that on top there. See if that works. All right, so we're getting something. All right, so what about the name? Okay. Oh, there we go. Help desk. Okay. So account name is help desk. Yeah. Account name. Need to copy that. Equals. Desk. Okay, cool. So we've got all that to work. So we need to sort of get a table and start figuring out the information. So underscore time, usual. So we want to look at important fields that we can leverage. So login type, definitely want that. What else do we want? Source network address, is it on here? Source network address, suppose, if it's in, yeah, maybe. What else can we? Do we have login ID? Login ID. I don't know if there's anything else that could be useful, but we do see account name back office as well, so you can use that, and you can use the domain name if you see that. And then obviously we've got the event code at the top. Can do a sort by time. Let's have a go. Okay. So we can see there was successful authentication. So we can see on the 19th, 1957-58, UTC November 3rd. Help desk logged in, login type 2, which is interactive, and then session IDs OX2641450. Basically, that you can track that particular session. So there's 2 here at the same time. So I don't know, maybe something they connected, then disconnected, and then connected again. So it's on the local host, so which makes sense for AnyDesk initiating a local session. And then on the 0234 31 UTC November 4th, another help desk login. This is when the active attack phase started. So did the attacker ever log off? Let me check. This is something new that I wanted to play around with, and it's event code 4634. So I'm still figuring out how to use this, but if you do have it, it kind of tells you when somebody logged off the system. So let's try that. Okay. So only the November 4th session logged off. The November 3rd sessions we can see, and I don't really know the codes. I think I just read it before, but there is a 450 and a 3A1. Never have a corresponding log-off event. So the attacker connected at 19:59 UTC on November the 3rd and maintained that session. They sat dormant for about 6 hours and a half, so roughly, then started active operations at 0234 UTC on November the 4th. Classic overnight attack pattern, which I wanted to simulate that. Connected when everybody leaves, wait until the middle of the night, then start the attack when no one's watching. Initial access method, we can say for sure now that it's AnyDesk remote access, and then we have account help desk compromised via social engineering, and the time was 19:59:58 UTC November the 3rd 2025. So dwell time before active operations is 6.5 hours. So these are things we can put on our notes. I'm not gonna bore you with typing stuff, so I'm just reading out my notes from before to streamline the video because I don't want to drag on too long. So the next thing we want to look at is initial access. We know was at 20:00 UTC November the 3rd, and then the active attacker started 0334 UTC November the 4th. Let's go back to event ID code 1 in Sysmon and see what's happening. So we're gonna switch this up a little bit now. So I'm just gonna copy my old one so I don't have to type things out. So I'm not gonna do. I was gonna do 50 because I think when we looked earlier, we saw the first initial who am I was around that time. We can go to 40 just to be sure. So I'm gonna look at an hour from when the attack started and see what's happening. So this is basically after Defender. So we're gonna look at what happened after Defender was disabled around 0250 UTC. So let's look. So straight away there we can see Suricata being invoked, and we can see it's using flags URL cache -split -f and a URL. Let me read this command line. So, and it's saying 64.226.121.55 8880 Google update core.exe. So we can actually check this IP. Virus total. So we can see it's been tagged. and we can sort of do a bit of OSINT and see what it is. But this is a simulated thing. I just wanted to sort of show you how I would investigate it if it was a real attack. And another one that I like to use is abuse.dbd, IPDB. I always get that wrong. And just check it there, see what comes up. So 0, there's nothing. Just always try to use more than one source. It's good practice. So let's go back here. So we know this IP is no good. We're abusing Certutal, DXC, can't even pronounce it. And then this one we saw AV tag it as a Sliver-based beacon malware. So straight away we know. So the threat actor downloaded it twice for some reason. Probably the first one failed. So same command again. So definitely something happened there. I can't remember, but I probably got it wrong and it didn't want to work or something. Then we can see straight after that, uses public libraries, which was on the exclusions on the Defender when we did the investigation of those logs. So Google Update Core was executed using PowerShell. So now we can go to the next page and see what's up. And it was executed again. And we can see here more activity. But before I do that, I do like to sort of go and check the network logs. And this gives us an opportunity to play with Zeek. So let's have a look. We want to change the sort type. I don't know what the source type is. So first of all, we need to go to network. Let's put the time frame. And I'll have a look. So hosts. So we got that one. During that time. So what do we need? Have a look at one of the sort of. So we need the source type. Definitely. Source type. What was source type? Source type. Oh. Equals. Now let's check that actually works. Does good. What other things can we get? So we want the we want this one. Oh, where that came. Source. And what else is there? Okay, this is cool. Then we can search for actual C2 IP that was used. Okay, so we got those two to use. So let's do the first one. And for us, we want to use the back office one. 09. Get the Okay, people. God, this is so complicated, but bear with me. Wrong. Well, the IP was 64.226.121.55, I think. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Moment of truth. So you're probably wondering how I knew about the 172.16.0.109. Well, it's the back office IP. So how we can find this, we can go back to endpoint logs and go through that. I'm not going to do that now, but it's probably a good exercise. There is a way to sort of find out the internal IPs for the system. I think I've got a query here somewhere that I've saved up. So, I mean, we can use that definitely if I can find it. So there we go. I'm gonna use it in a minute. Let's build this out first. So I'm gonna click it and see if we actually get any results. We do 40. So at least that's kind of narrowed it down for us a little bit. So the table, what actually do we want to display? This is a tough one. So table, we want the time. So what kind of things be useful for us here? That can kind of give us a good details. We probably want to see not seeing anything in particular. Files. Look up 2 more fields. Get from here. So these origin and what was it? Response. Origin H and then ID response H. ID response H. Those are good. What else? What else? Okay. What those other fields that we can use? Okay. I can't remember how I did this, but I think that query in itself kind of gives us, yeah, well, that's not very useful, is it? So let's remove that. Show raw. Or maybe we can use this later to do searches. That might be, I think I remember Stephen telling us that each session has a UID, a unique identifier. So that could help us as well. I'm kind of going into crazy territory here, but yeah, I might be. I was wanting to sort of look at the if there's like a URI or something like that. I don't see it. I'm going blind here. I don't. Weird. Unless I'm in the wrong. That's why. I'm in the wrong damn thing. HTTP. I'm doing this. I'm winging it, by the way. So the video is probably going to be long, and also I kind of wanted to show you sort of an organic way of doing investigations and sort of the things that you happen, and you sort of have to use, you know, your brain to figure out why the hell certain fields are not there, and then keep going back and looking at my notes. But oh, there we go. See, I knew there was something not right there. So we want the method, definitely. Method is good. Let's do this. Time method. You do want the URI. Definitely want the user agent. Want status code. I think that's enough. So we can see on the time period, we've got the Suricata URL agent, so they definitely downloaded that. And then we got status code 200, which means it did get downloaded on the back office endpoint. And then here we have the user agent masquerading as Microsoft Crypto API 10.0 for the Google update. So we can take a screenshot of this and take the evidence and also the times. So 259. So let's do that. 259.25. And then if we go back to do this, so that kind of confirms the endpoint with the network. Right, I need to find the query again. Oh, I got it here. So that kind of confirms the same time frame, like 259 when it was downloaded. So we go back to the events, sort of around the same time. The difference in between is probably the size of the file. Took 10 seconds maybe to download, or a bit more. So that's a good indicator that definitely it was downloaded on the system and it was executed. So the other thing we can look at is we can continue to look through this, and we can see this more who am I -all more enumeration, and then we have this weird Windows System 32 PowerShell.exe, no exit command, console output. So we can look at what that is. What's it telling us? So nothing specific really. Okay. we can probably ask ChatGPT what that says. GPT. Use the free version. What is this? Is this a sign of abuse? Okay. So basically, it's telling us it's usually normal, but I mean, if we if we look at the straight after it, we've got PowerShell. This is invoked by Google Update 4.exe. So yeah, there's definitely part of the Sliver framework uh, that generates this, I guess. So and then we got straight after it, who am I.exe dash all. So definitely suspicious. So something's definitely with that, you know, and then that's on the command line, and then the back office is definitely C2 behavior. So that's one of the reasons why we simulated it, just to get an idea. I did use shell, I didn't use the beacon, so that's why a lot of command line logs, and it's just to sort of learn how to find evil, understand the foundations of doing these investigations. It's really cool because Stephen has set up this Splunk for us, and it's a good way for us to practice doing investigations, as you can see. And we've got network logs as well, so that's pretty cool. So the next thing we wanted to look at is use the exact same thing, but we want to look at this Google Update Core. We kind of want to look at what is it spawning. So let's remove all this, and we want to get the name of the. Oh, that's the name in the logs. We can. This is in the parent image, so we can do parent image equals, and this is syntax. Basically, the star just searches for that particular instance. So I've copied it exactly the same as in the command line just to make sure, and then just run it, see if it works. It does. So now I don't really want to look at all that, so let's pass it out. So we're gonna do table. Always remember the pipe. Table underscore time always. Then we want the image, command line, and user. I always use those three. They're more than enough. I don't want loads of information, just the stuff that gives me the answers. So we do want to change the time frame. I did forget that, sorry. So let's say 5:30. Okay, so we can also sort it out by time. And we can see that PowerShell and that Google update is spawning these different sessions. So we can see 319, 344, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions. So that means they disconnected and then reconnect again, which is typical sort of C2 behavior. But this is kind of what you get in the command line if it's when I was using the shell thing. So it was just to get a bit of practice, so to see when we do discover malware, to see what is it exactly doing. So what process is it? Is it accessing, spawning, that kind of thing? So The malware basically opened up an interactive PowerShell session with UTF-8 encoding for proper command output handling. The attacker now has remote command execution. So this is like typical Sliver and Cobalt strike behavior, spawn a shell, send commands, receive output through the C2 channel. So I do want to look at event code 3 using that, see what network connections it's actually doing. Obviously, I want to get rid of all this, and also we want to change this to image because I don't think network has that one, parent image. I did change this one to backoffice.kdc.local. We can take that off, but it's fine, it works. So let's see what kind of fields we can use on the event code 3 and Sysmon. Do that. So we've got quite a bit there we can work with. So we kind of want the destination IP and destination port so we can get some good information there. So using the Google Update core image, let's do a table. Time. Destination IP, I don't know the exact destination IP. All right, let's have a look here so I can copy it. There we go. That. Do that again because I should get. Oh, there we go. It says destination IP there, and then oh, okay. Let's use that. Table. Time. Paste that. What else do we have? Destination IP, and we want destination port. Destination port. There we go. Do that. And then we can do our usual sort by time. Wow, 225 times. So this is very typical beacon behavior. And also we have the destination port now, 443. So you can put that in our notes as well. So all connections go on to 64.226.121.55 on port 443. That's HTTPS. The malware downloads over HTTP port 8080 but communicates with C2 over encrypted HTTPS port 443. So now we want to look at the C2 beacon count. So how can we do that? We can do 0 here and then 5 and expand it. We can also change the times here just to have a bit of a wider range. So that's a full day on the 4th. So let's have a look. So that's 1611 times go back. So yeah. So that's, and you got a page of it. So at least we can put that in our notes as well. So the connections to that particular IP on 443, the malware checking in repeatedly for commands. So let's kind of dig deeper into the actual beacon there. So we know what the image is, and we have the destination IP, but I'm more interested in the destination port here. So we can add that there, equal 443. This. So that's kind of what we want to look at. We want to look at the malware name that was used in the destination port, and then we kind of want to do sort and then underscore time. So this is a query that I kind of have saved that I was playing about with. It works great. So I'm not going to type the rest of it out. It's quite complicated, so I don't want to make mistakes and waste time. How I built it out, well, we need to do that another time, but just to sort of give you an idea. Average beacon interval is about 37 seconds with a standard deviation of 46 seconds. That's jitter, randomized delay between callbacks to avoid detection. So if it was exactly 30 seconds every time, network monitoring would catch the pattern. The randomization makes it harder to detect. Spoiler alert, Zeek found it, and so did Suricata. There was loads of alerts, so it's pretty easy to catch. But like we said, we're doing this for sort of understanding beacon behavior, intervals, jitter, that kind of thing. So it's really cool. Maximum interval is 400 seconds, about 6.5 minutes, probably network hiccups or international long sleeps or whatever. This is constant with a mature C2 framework like Sliver, which we used. So that we can put into our notes as well. Can be useful. So I'm not really going to dive into this. You can sort of look at the Zeek log, the event code 3 logs, and also some of these syntax. I did search on Google and used AI to sort of figure out how to use this stuff. So definitely a great learning curve for sure. So I want to go back to event code 1 and sort of look at what the actual command line is. But that was kind of a bit of a deviation into network and event code 3. So let's go back to our event code ID 1. So let's have a look. So we can see here, that's the discovery phase. So 03/2019 UTC, who am I all, full privilege enumeration. And then 03/2055 UTC, we can see, there we go, network group net is being invoked, local group administrators. So who's a local admin? And then we have local group, remote desktop users who can RDP, there. And then we have system info. We've got ipconfig.exe all. So he wants to see all the IPs. So this is kind of them checking the environment, see what's going on. So we can see also 03/4038 here, task list. Checking running processes, probably looking for security tools. And then we can see C2 checking in again using PowerShell. So let's go to the second one here. All right. We can see Rubeus.exe is clearing out PowerShell logs for some reason. And even the console history there. So that's at 03/45/13 UTC, PowerShell clearing, events, defensive evasion, they're covering tracks, then network discovery at 3:54. So they're looking at the different IPs, figuring out the structure and sort of what other hosts are there. So this is kind of figuring out how to possibly do lateral movement. So let's continue. The next page. We can see Seratools being used again here, and same C2 infrastructure is being used, AT&CK, and they've pulled Mimikatz and then changed it to MSEdge.exe. So that's the name changing is a typical tactic that they do to blend in with the environment. So it's a form of masquerading. Naming malware after legitimate software to avoid detections. Microsoft Edge is MSEdge.exe, so that blends into the process list. We also see that it's been invoked. So privilege, debugs, secure lol, so I can't even pronounce it, that thing. Login, password, exit. So that's typical syntax behavior. And then dump credentials from else memory. They're extracting plain text passwords and NT-LM hashes from memory. So this is a cool thing in Sysmon, is we can check if they were successful by going to event code 10. We probably have to change the table here, but let me just do 10 so we can get the raw data and then work our way through that. So let's go. Okay. Right, so I'll look on the side there because warning logs here. But so we definitely want grant access. But there's two here. I don't know why, but we'll use that one. Copy. We also want to actually figure out what the target image is. Target process GUID. Any target image? There we go. Net. Right, so I don't know. So it's probably going to be small letters lsas.exe. I assume it. That works. So target image equals, and then we've got the lsas wildcard there, lsas.exe. I'm hoping it works. Cross my fingers. Oh, yes. Okay, so we can now sort of pass the information. So we do want the granted access we saw earlier. We want the target image and probably the source image as well. So let's copy that out. As we can probably see here, there's MS Edge masquerading, so that's a good sign. That means we're at the right tables. Table, time, source, image, and then target image, and then we saw earlier grant access, and then we want to sort it out by sort time. Grant access is not working, so I probably spelt it wrong. Granted access, maybe. Look. Yes. Okay. So this is always a thing with Splunk. You have to get the right spelling, the right capital letters, everything. So just watch out for that. If you don't see something and you expect to see something, then just go back. So for example, we can take that off, go back, and then see the granted access. So let's do that again. So there it is. The source image is msedge.exe, our disguised Mimikatz. Target image is lss.exe. Granted access is 0x1010, which is process VM read and process query limited information. The permissions needed to read memory. This is a smoking gun for credential dumping. The attacker used Mimikatz to read LSS memory and extract credentials. What did they get? I can't see the actual password from logs, but I can see what they did with them. So let me continue back and go to the timeline. So we can sort of pivot back to event ID code 1 and continue. I keep changing the times here because I don't want to go back and look through the old logs that we went through the discovery section. So I'm going back exactly where we saw Mimikatz and then go from there. So straight away, we can see a curl.exe at 042452 UTC. So curl.exe, and they're exfiltrating. So basically, they saved the Mimikatz output, uploaded it to Discord hook. Discord is a legitimate service, so it bypasses most network filtering. Then at 043127, they've used the CMD key -list. They're checking for saved Windows credentials in the system. Then after that, 432, we can see here that they're trying to access this particular IP share. So, and user KDC local James Allen, very secure 1. So I'm assuming either they got this from the CMD key or they got that from the Mimikatz dumping. So either it's a plain text password or it could be a hash that they cracked. So it's that kind of thinking. You want to think how the attackers kind of do their thing to understand sort of the logs and the techniques. Well, at least that's what I try to do anyway. So been working for me so far. So you can see they're authenticating to the domain controller. That particular IP is the domain controller. I did promise to show you how to get these IPs. I will. Actually, I need to find it in my notes, so I'll showcase it at the end if I do find it. So 043427 there. Here again. But either that didn't work and then they changed it, or it did work and they were able to get into patient data, so they're accessing some information there. So they definitely managed to get the James Allen credentials. So what should we look for next? So we know they did manage to get access. We can go to the next page and see what's going on. Yeah, so they're doing enumeration, so they've got into HR, backups, billing, backups. So these are SMB shares by the looks of it, because it's all through the back office. They haven't actually moved anywhere else yet. So we can see and see what else they've downloaded another Adobe Update Service.exe. We know that's Sliver as well, so it could be some other beacon that they want to use. You can see a lot of enumeration. Okay. So before we actually get into that, I wanted to kind of actually see, since they were able to get into the system. Oh, actually, this looks like they were trying to create a task, schedule task using that, naming it Adobe Update Task, and then using that particular exe, and then running it a system. So we'll get into that a little bit later because I really want to sort of pivot and see if they did actually copy anything. And we can see here they use robocopy attrib, so program data Microsoft backup, and they exfiltrated something. So this is important to sort of look into a little bit more. So I do want to check this, and then we'll go back to that the other sort of lateral movement that they're trying to attempt to, I don't know, file server or DC. But let's confirm if they were successful in actually exfiltrating data, because we can see the webhook here, but we don't know if it was successful. So what we can do is look at curl, robocopy, and attrib, you know, from the image there. So we can use these to searches with. So I'm actually not going to be typing anymore. I'm just going to copy from my notes. So this is kind of what we can use, and I'm going to change this to 450 because it's getting a bit later on. So here 454. So just to reduce the logs, so we don't have to keep looking at previous logs that we don't need. So let's run that. So we can see here they hit this particular backup staging folder. They use robocopy to copy patient data and employees data. They've zipped it up, KDC exfil.zip, and they use the similar API to when they did the exfiltration of the credentials. So that's good to know. So a little bit of explanation sort of about the different indicators here, because it's good to know these and understand them. So basically what they did is attrib plus H on a backup folder, they're hiding the staging directory, and then robocopy command is, as you can see there, they're copying the entire 2004 patient data directory from the file server to a local staging folder. E means all subdirectories, MT8 means 8 threads for speed. So we can see another robocopy, same syntax. So they zipped up the patient and HR data and exfiltrated. This is a full data breach. So PHI and PII compromised, which is not good. So now I want to go back to network logs, but this time we're going to look at a different source type, the JSON, Zeek JSON. So let's have a look here. So we're trying to sort of look at the 109 IP back office, and then using that 162. I think this is the Discord IP. I kind of jumped ahead here, but you get the idea. So so we can actually tell from here that this IP, which is the Discord one, 4443, and it's given us sort of the duration. So the 2 exfiltrations did go through the network. So another way we can check it is probably use code 3. I suppose we can keep those, you know, why not? Or no. Actually, let's remove all that and try to figure out this way. we want to figure out the IP, nation IP. So we've got 4 here. So this is where I got it from. So 16152. So that way you can kind of use that destination IP. We can build it out. Oh. So we want to do stats count by destination IP. And we can probably want to put the port as well. Oh, 443. Yeah. We got these. I mean, we know it's 443. Anyway, we can sort of check it. Cloudflare net. Probably look at the community here. We can check these. No, that's Microsoft. This is a naughty IP. So definitely that one is the Discord one. So I kind of just wanted to show that you can find it in the fields there. We can probably know. I don't want that one. Let's do. I think there was a way. I can't remember what I used exactly, sort of to figure out that it was Discord, but maybe we can use. I think I used image, maybe. Equal Discord, maybe. No. Let's look at the image. Okay, so there's possible ways we can do this. I think I might have done OSINT and then figured out it was, or I could have probably searched in event ID 1 maybe and saw it there. Let's have a look. It's kind of bugging me now. I want to know how I actually figured it out. All right, I'm gonna move on. So we want to go back and start looking at the exfil data, and we figured out that the exfiltration did occur. So they did exfil the stuff to Discord, and it was successful. So kind of want to look at services that might have been used. So lateral movement, we can check these. So the attacker exploited the data. We know this. We know that defender caught malware on the file server, so we can try and sort of trace the sort of the events. So okay, so after they downloaded Adobe Update Service, they did twice, so it must have failed again. So we can see that they created a service called Adobe Update Service. We saw that in the logs, and then we have sc.exe creating a service on 172.16.0.8, and then it's been put as software update service.exe start auto. They created a Windows service on the file server that would auto start and run their malware. That's persistence on a second system. Scheduled task, creating a scheduled task on the same server as backup persistence. They tried to create a scheduled task on the domain controller too, as we can see there, and called it something else, Microsoft Edge Update. But from our Defender logs earlier, we saw that the Adobe Update Service.exe was detected and quarantined on KCD FS01. The lateral movement was attempted but blocked. So what we can do is check if that particular update, Adobe Update Service, did it actually hit disk? So this is the query we can use. We've got the Adobe Update Service name. Nothing. So there's nothing. So no results. The file was written to disk but never executed. Defender quarantined before it could run. So lateral movement failed there. They also might attempted to do the. What else did they attempt to do? They tried to move to the DC as well, didn't they? So we can do the same thing. Check. What did they use there? Microsoft Edge Update. Yep. There's that one there. Okay, so these are all legitimate. See, this is why threat actors use these different names to confuse you. But thankfully, it's all normal system behavior, program files. So it's not. It's a failure on their part. They weren't able to get on either two systems. So what we want to do is look at msedge.exe again, the Mimikatz, and see what else it's being. What else did they use it for except what we saw from the logs? So let's run that. So we can see that domain KDC local user KRBTGT. So the DC sync attack, they're replicating password data from the domain controller by pretending to be another DC. They targeted the KRBTGT account. That's the Kerberos ticket granting account. So if they got the hash for that, they can create golden tickets, forge Kerberos tickets that give them persistence domain admin access that survives password resets, which is not a good thing. And we can see also more attempts. They ran it multiple times, probably because the first attempt had issues. This is bad, even if we clean the malware. If they got the hash for that particular account, the ticketing system, they can come back anytime. So so now I want to go back to sort of looking at the logs. Let's remove that and go back. So we saw all of this. So this is what we looked at just now. trying to that's the lateral move in that field, and then they're trying to also basically here they're trying to add the backdoor account as well, so we can see net being used. So okay, let's try to do this query, because that's the image they use, net. So we want to look at sort of the timeline, what they used exactly. So as you can see, I'm always reducing the time so I can just look at specific logs. So we can see that they net user add backup, and then the $. This is them mimicking sort of the system, how the system sets these up. They're trying to blend in. With the $sign at the end, that's a naming convention for machine accounts. So it helps, it might slip past automated detection looking for suspicious user accounts. And then we got domain admins backups, add domain, and they added it to domain admins. They now have a backdoor domain admin account. Even if we reset passwords and clean up and everything, and we don't find that particular backup account, they can come back, obviously. So we can also try and figure out if this particular backup account was used. We'll do that. We'll do that later. But it does say that back office, and then it was added there to James Allen. But we know James Allen is compromised anyway, so whether that account was used or not, we can definitely look into that. So how can we do that? I think we can use the event log, Windows event log 4624. I'm not going to do it here because I did check it and they didn't use it. So but that kind of, I wanted to explain it, that's a pivot point what we can do. But I kind of want to get on with the investigation there, look at the reg and look at persistence, what persistence has done. So we can use the image reg.exe here and event code 1 to sort of filter them out. Okay, so we can see there's 2 there. The reason that I put that particular time is because we know that particular thing wasn't used until then. So that particular image reg.exe, we can go to the attack and look, and it's still the same. So we can see that they added a registration value of security health systray, and it's pointing to our malware. And then we can see that it actually is in the registry there. So that's so they've used the software Microsoft Windows current version run, and then added the security health systray. Value points to Google Update Core. So even if the system reboots, the malware runs automatically on startup, and they named the registry key security health systray. So that's a kind of masquerading as a legitimate Windows security tray icon process that's there. So we know it's 5.16.48. You'd see registry query to verify it works. So after they did that, they were checking. So it's working. So the other thing is we can look at as we go through the investigation is log clearing and that kind of thing. I'm not really going to go into it. I'll just query it quickly. Again, we can use the image mover tool. So I've did it 6 here. Let's do it from 2 when the attack started. There's more there. So we can see that they cleared logs there, and then they cleared logs at the end there, which is a sign that they're ending their attack and they're just covering tracks, make it more difficult for forensics. So the final part and the fun stuff is looking at Suricata logs. So I'm not going to go through the fields, but I kind of giving you an idea how to look at the actual logs and then extract what you need to get information and sort of filter through. So I'm going to use Suricata here, and these are alert signatures that the system has. So we can see, oh, I remember now. I got the Discord from the Suricata logs. So yeah, I got it there. So Discord. So that was something I learned when I was doing the investigation. I was racking my brain how I got it, and you saw me racking my brain when I was doing the actual investigation. So I got it from Suricata. Yeah, I figured it out when I was looking at the network logs, because I spent a day on those logs trying to figure out what information was there. There's so much information you can go through, which is fantastic. So we can see that we've got alerts here. So we know that Discord was accessed 4 times here. So yeah, count 222. So it's a good thing to if you do have Suricata login or Zeek, you can so for Suricata specifically, you can look at the alert signature and see what was triggered. It's beautiful. As we can see here, that one executable downloaded from .quad host. So I don't know what that is. I think I wrote it in my notes, but let's Google it anyway. So see what it says. All right, so executable download from .quad host is a snort Suricata rule. SID21. We can read. I'm not going to read all of it, but it's designed to detect HTTP traffic where an executable file, typically a .exe, is downloaded from a host identified by a B. Yeah. So obviously we know this because, and then it goes on about Trojans, and you get the idea. So this is our basically our C2 framework. So this is a good indicator as well to sort of look into that and figure out different alert signatures and see what they come up with during the attack period. So that's something I kind of wanted to talk about as well. So yeah. So the observed Discord domain in TLS CNI, the exfiltration to Discord was flagged, but it's informational, not blocking. So and then we want to sort of go into Zeek again. I love Zeek, by the way. And this is for C2 kind of information. So this is kind of like statistics about the different, I'll kind of want to get an idea of how many connections there are and that kind of thing. So port 8080, fewer connections, those were the malware downloads, and then about 55k KB sent over the C2, commands going down back and forth and that kind of thing. So this also shows you that there's persistence. So if you look, 8080, there we go, 4443. So I know it's 443, but it's still going through to that main IP. So it was running from there. Obviously, this is all for simulation purposes, guys. These are authorized labs with my mentor, Stephen Ma, for training at the MYDFIR School to do investigations and do this cool stuff. So so this is just information about the sessions, and then we want to go a new thing that I learned is JA3 is a TLS fingerprint. So that is something else we can look at, and we can get the hash for that particular TLS handshake. So we have here that one. This is a really good indicator. This is a unique fingerprint for this specific malware. So you can use this for detections, any connections with this JR3 to an unknown destination suspicious. So it's a network-based IOC independent of file hashes. So definitely something to put in the report. So that's kind of wrapping up my investigation for this simulated attack that we did for the CTF. I hope I didn't drag on too long. I usually wing this, so I don't really edit anything. And for me, it's just for fun. It's to do this for fun and practice sort of my communication skills and that kind of thing. I'm not really a YouTuber or anything like that. I just want to sort of show what I've learned and showcase it by doing videos and practicing communication skills. So I just wanted to go through my notes and sort of summarize everything. So talking points to discuss for this particular attack is initial access, November the 3rd at 1959 UTC. Attacker used social engineering, phishing calls to make staff leave computers on. They had compromised the help desk account credentials and used AnyDesk remote access to get in. So execution, after about 6.5 hours of being dormant, active operation started at 02:34 UTC, November the 4th. They disabled Defender, downloaded Sliver C2 malware using Suricata, and established a command and control channel over HTTPS to 64.226.121.55. So in terms of credential access that we saw is they used Mimikatz to dump LSAS memory and extract domain credentials, including James Allen's password, then performed DC sync to get the Kerberos ticketing hash, giving them golden ticket capability, which was not successful. Lateral movement authenticated to the file server and domain controller using stolen credentials, tried to deploy malware to the file server, but Defender blocked it, created a scheduled task on the domain controller that never executed. So in terms of persistence, they created a backdoor domain admin account called backup with a $, added registry run key for malware persistence on reboot. This is all on back office. They weren't able to do anything on the file server or the DC controller. We can obviously double check and do scoping, and which I did, but I didn't put it in the video now, is do event ID 1 and that particular file server host, and you can check the activity during that time, and I did. There wasn't anything, so they couldn't get in. So in terms of exfiltration, they stole the 2024 patient data, which is all fake data, by the way, guys. It's all simulated. And HR employee records, exfiltrated approximately 180 kilobytes via Discord webhooks, which is for simulation purposes. Obviously, if it was a real attack, it will be in gigabytes or terabytes or whatever. So the impact assessment is back office PC1 fully compromised with confirmed malware execution. We have domain compromise as extraction, whether they're usable or not, but it's a significant find. Backdoor domain admin account exists, and obviously we have data breach on the actual environment, the KCD Dental environment. What saved them? So what I wanted to sort of showcase is the ability to get in, but wasn't able to do lateral movement, but still was able to exfiltrate some sort of data, but they were stopped by having some security based setup. So on the DC and on the file server, we left everything on, tamper protection, stuff like that. That's why when I tried to do lateral movement, it failed because, well, tamper protection was on. So Defender on the file server catching the lateral movement malware, if that had succeeded, this would have been much worse, of course. So what kind of remediations can we do? So in terms of this particular incident, we can reset the password, remove the backup account that was set up, reset all domain user passwords, especially James Allen and help desk, because we don't know what they actually managed to get. So I do remember when I was doing the simulated attack, I did manage to dump 15 hashes. I didn't really try to break the hashes because I think it was it had a stronger encryption, so it had AES encryption. Usually you want to look for RC4. I think if that's RC4, then it's worth decrypting and then trying to use that. But that's one of the things why I didn't bother to showcase it in the actual video. But that's one of the things that threat actors do, is check that kind of thing. So it's good to know how to check your AD environment if you do checks and you find that the RC4 I think is available, then they can crack your hashes and be able to access users on the domain controller. So that's not a good thing. So rebuild back office PC1 to a clean image. I would probably try to block 64.226.121.55, but in this instance, it really depends if the employer wants to block that, because it is a DigitalOcean IP. I mean, it's up to the if it doesn't mess with the sort of company operations, they can block it. I'd probably block it, but it's up to them. Discord we can't really do much with. Security awareness training on phishing, and mandatory breach notification for patients and employees, because there was successful data exfiltration using Discord. So I'm gonna sort of show you my report, because I did finish it. Let me see if I can find it. So I kind of wanted to do something special for this one, and there we go. So KCD Dental incident investigation. So basically I did a case summary, sort of went through the initial access, then the execution, I did screenshots of everything, malware analysis, sort of what we found about the malware. This is the hashes. I added those indicators in there. What is spawned, and sort of explained a little bit about that, and then persistence, what we found in terms of persistence, privilege escalation, defense evasion. I'm not going to read through the whole report, but I just wanted to show you, sort of show what I did, and kind of went through all the different MITRE stages, and figure out what actually happened, and sort of just piecing it all together, which was really challenging, but it was rewarding at the same time. So I learned quite a bit from it, which is the whole point of the MYDFIR Skool and doing these CTFs and simulations. We discovery, so going through all of that, and then share enumeration, how they exfiltrated the data, even though they weren't able to actually get into the file server and the DC, and then just going through that, what exactly happened. And then we did some scoping, so to make sure they weren't able to get anywhere else. What other systems did they access? Sort of run through the whole environment, and it was all back in everything happened in back office. So that system is the beachhead, and they weren't able to expand any further from that. So we talk about collection here, which we looked at, and then command and control, and then I kind of go into detail here, what got triggered by this particular process, sort of the timeline. I thought this was pretty cool. Sort of the IP there, and sort of the network traffic and activity that it did. So you can see a lot of traffic here, and then a lot of beaconing there. So I think yeah, I think that was the whole attack period there. So And then we looked at Zeek logs, long-lived C2 session, sort of explaining that, TLS fingering, fingerprinting, and then IDS detections. And then we talk about the exfiltration, what data got taken and stuff. Talk about Suricata rules as well, that detected it. Network volume analysis. So yeah, and then sort of just explain the impact and go through that. And then the indicators here, obviously we have to collect the file hashes. I did also forget to go through the Rubeus was used as well, not just Mimikatz. So sorry guys, I forgot to mention that, because I should have gone through all of the event ID all the way through the attack and explained it there, but maybe in another video. I think you kind of get the idea of how these investigations work. I can't remember every single thing, but this video would be a couple of hours, then nobody's really going to watch me talk for 3 hours. So this is again the timeline. I condensed it a little bit, so just talking about the main things, and then the MYDFIR attack there, sort of different sections. I did play around with detections, defender tamper, protection disabled, and created some Sigma rules. That was tough as hell, but it was a lot of fun. I don't know if this is actually correct, but I tried my best, guys. I did do some alerts in Splunk to test them out and see if they work, and some of them worked really well, some of them didn't. So that's kind of the whole video, guys. I am going to play around with Suricata and try and do this TLS connection without CNI, command and control, and try and see if this actually works. I don't know. We'll see. I tried to sort of look through Google and use AI to help me get this together. I can't really test it until I set up the lab, or give it to my Stephen and see if he thinks this will work, and tell us these are the ones that we have already. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is one of my first investigations I've actually recorded. I thought this would be a lot of fun because it had domain controller action, a lot of network activity, and a mix of endpoint, Sysmon, defender log. So I thought it was pretty cool to sort of do a video about it and sort of show you the cool stuff that we learned. So thank you for listening, and thank you for going through this. And if you have any comments or tips on how to do the investigations and make our lives easier, I'd love any feedback. Thanks, guys. See ya.